There was the surreal, comically entitled Swedish couple we forced ourselves to sit with in the back lounge of the Alice bus outside a concert hall in Ghent, Belgium. A non-stop stream of pretentious, mind-anesthetizing drivel poured from their mouths like the putrid liquid poison you simultaneously shit and puked while kicking dope cold turkey. In agony, we listened to the young blonde girlfriend, as narcissistic as she was physically beautiful, work slowly through the incredibly long list of bands she'd partied with who were, in her estimation, so much better than us. I nearly lost my shit, my personal patience well exhausted by the time they finally produced a bag of heroin and another of coke to sell us. Our disdain for them was so great that when we were finally rid of them, we nicknamed them the King and Queen of Sweden, and they became our touchstone for the worst Europe had to offer. It was people like these, two sides of the same agendaed, opportunist and condescending cat-shit-encrusted coin that we were forced by our circumstances to spend time with on a regular basis, along with every other stripe of hustler, hipster, huckster, or street person. Back in London, after playing around the continent for a few weeks, Layne, Hicks, and I spent a day in a hotel room relaxing and getting high. It was an unseasonable heat wave in the UK, and we were happy to be able to hang out in the relative coolness of the room together. No commitments or show. No trust fund drug-dealing snobs or degenerate freaks to endure. We were free to just lie around, catch a nod, and listen to British TV shows playing quietly in the background. In between doing the odd shot of dope every now and then, we cleaned all of our rigs out in the same glass of water that after a while turned pink with blood. We thought nothing of cleaning our syringes in the same water. We had been sharing needles for so long that if one of us had something, we all had it by now. Out of the hazy blue came an unexpected knock on the door. Hicks got up to see who it was, and not bothering to put anything away, Layne and I continued to nod while sitting at a table together. John opened the door just a tiny crack. Suddenly, the King and Queen of Sweden, the same couple of Swedish assholes we'd been unable to tolerate in Ghent, came bursting through the door, pushing Hicks' slight, skinny frame out of the way. The pleasant high I'd been carefully nursing all day was instantly eradicated. "Oh my fucking God, it's so hot out there. We've been out there for hours," the unbearable blonde said. "Thank fuck we finally found you guys," she continued, fanning herself for dramatic effect. She stormed into the room as though she owned the place. Her pompous, sweaty dealer boyfriend followed behind, carrying several bags of what looked to be newly purchased women's clothing. "Oh my fucking God, I'm so thirsty," she squawked. She scanned the room till her eyes locked on the tumbler of pink water sitting on the table between Layne and me. To my slow-to-unfold surprise, she charged across the room in a blur of motion, reached right past me and grabbed the glass filled to the brim with tepid, rancid, boutonniere-colored fluid, tainted with the blood of 3 hardcore international junkies. It all took place so quickly I couldn't find my voice. High as fuck, I tried and failed to form words, then began to raise my arm to stop her. Layne clocked my look of horror, then grabbed my arm and squeezed it tight in a gesture that was unmistakable. Let her drink it. In a flash, she had raised the glass straight to her lips. The Queen of Sweden was clearly someone who took whatever she wanted when she wanted it. As we watched in shock, horror, and macabre delight, she slammed the entire contents of the glass in a matter of seconds. When we finally managed to get rid of these 2 extreme irritants an hour later, it felt as though we'd been held hostage in our own home by a party of drunken ex-rugby players turned crooked politicians. The 3 of us looked at each other, exhausted by their mood-destroying unwanted company and rude, boorish behavior. We slowly began to chuckle at what had transpired, at first quietly shocked and relieved, worn down, yet quietly amused. Eventually we began to howl, falling around the room in hysterics, laughing ourselves sick, tears of comedic joy pouring out in unceasing pleasure, like survivors of a grenade attack. The astounding crescendo of this unexpected reunion with these arrogantly grandiose, know-it-all dickheads had been indelibly stamped in our brains. Playing it out over and over in our mind's eye caused round after round of spontaneous spasms of laughter. Just when I thought I was too exhausted to laugh anymore, we would look at one another and start howling again over what we had silently watched happen as the Queen of Sweden bum-rushed our private party, and then what she'd so ignorantly, indulgently, and recklessly helped herself to. The revenge was so perfect, so poetic, it was like a Greek myth. We laughed for what felt like hours until we were completely spent. It was the first thing that came to mind when I woke up the next day, and again I laughed until my guts were aching. You could not have scripted a more fucked up scene, complete with perfectly cast character actors if you tried. If I'd ever met someone more deserving of a drink of water, I couldn't remember who.